Why dollar cost averaging might not always be the best strategy. Many people use a strategy called dollar cost averaging, DCA, when investing in the stock market. With DCA, you can invest a fixed amount of money at regular times, like every month, no matter how the market is doing. The idea is that by investing regularly, you buy more shares when prices are low and fewer shares when prices are high, which can help you get a good average price over time. This approach can work well in the long run, especially if the market is overvalued, too expensive, or in a downtrend going down. In these cases, it can cause losses that are hard to recover from. Why sticking to one strategy can be risky? Imagine you are on a hike up a mountain. You have a map that worked great for someone who climbed in the summer, but now it's winter and the path is covered in snow and ice. If you follow the same route without thinking, you might slip, fall, or get stuck. This is similar to using dollar cost averaging without considering market conditions. Dollar cost averaging assumes that spreading out your investments will reduce risk and give you a good average price. However, if the market is overpriced, you might end up buying shares at high prices over and over again. If the market is in a downtrend, this strategy can lead to big losses because you keep buying as prices fall, locking in those losses. For example, during the dot-com crash in 2000 and the financial crisis in 2008, many investors kept using dollar cost averaging, not realizing the market was overvalued. When the crashes happened, they had bought stocks at inflated prices, which led to losses that took years to recover. Cisco Systems is a tech company that was very popular during the dot-com boom. In early 2000, its stock price peaked at around $80 per share. But when the dot-com bubble burst, the stock dropped over 80%, falling to below $15 per share by 2002. Even though Cisco is still a strong company, it took many years to recover. It wasn't until 2017 that its stock price climbed back to around $30 to $40 per share. Investors who kept buying Cisco at its high prices using dollar cost averaging during the crash faced big losses that took decades to recover. Bank of America is another example from 2008 financial crisis. Before the crisis, its stock was trading around $50 per share in late 2007. Many investors believed in the bank's size and stability and kept buying its stock at these high prices. But when the financial crisis hit, Bank of America's stock collapsed, falling below $4 per share by early 2009, a drop of more than 90%. It took nearly a decade, until around 2017, for the stock to return to its pre-crisis levels. Investors who continued buying without considering the market conditions faced long-term losses. Instead of sticking to one strategy like dollar cost averaging, it's better to change your approach based on what's happening in the market. This means being flexible and willing to adjust your strategy when necessary. For example, in a bear market, a time when prices are falling, a lump sum investment, putting in a larger amount of money all at once, might be more effective. If the market eventually goes up again, your returns could be much higher than if you kept buying small amounts during the decline. Think of it like shopping during a big sale. If you know prices will go back up soon, it makes sense to buy more while they're low. You wouldn't buy a little bit every week if you knew prices were temporarily low, right? Amazon is a great example of a stock that outperformed after the dot-com crash using a lump sum investment strategy. Its stock price peaked at $113 in 1999, but dropped to about $6 by late 2001. Huge decline. If an investor had bought a lot of Amazon shares at its lowest point, he would have gotten a great deal. Amazon slowly began to recover and then grew rapidly as the internet became more popular. By the mid 2000s, the stock price had increased significantly, and by the 2010s, it became one of the best performing stocks. This shows how buying in bulk when prices were low allowed investors to benefit from Amazon's growth, far outperforming the broader market. JP Morgan Chase is another example from the financial crisis. Like most banks, its stock dropped during the crisis, from around $47 per share in late 2007 to around $15 per share in early 2009. Investors who bought a lot of shares at the low price in early 2009 saw the stock recover to around $50 per share by 2013 and then continue to rise, reaching over $100 per share by the mid-2010s. This lump sum investment approach allowed investors to gain much more than the S&P 500. These examples show that in a bear market, a lump sum investment can be a more smart move, especially when investing in strong companies that are likely to recover. By recognizing these opportunities as massive sales and buying in bulk, investors can look in great gains as market recovers, beating the average market returns. Right now, take a look at your portfolio. Identify any stock you've held on just because it's cheap or because you're waiting for a dip to recover. Evaluate its fundamentals. Ask yourself, does this stock still have growth potential or are you just holding on because you're afraid to sell? Now you know how to avoid common mistakes that lead to losses and what to do instead. It's time to take action and start making smarter choices. Remember, every step you take today is a step closer to achieving your financial goals.